everybody, and welcome back to Gay 2K, a podcast for nostalgic millennial queers. I'm Sarah, and as you can tell, we're doing things a little bit differently this season, um, recording with both audio and video at the same time, so that's new. Alex will be joining me in a bit as we discuss the 2004 classic Mean Girls compared with the 2006 Disney Channel original movie High School Musical. We use those two films to discuss our own experiences as new kids at school and kind of explore the openly gay character in Mean Girls and the subtextually gay character in High School Musical and what it means and how it impacted us or how it didn't. So I hope you enjoy. And here is that conversation between me and Alex now. Hey everybody, and welcome to Gay 2K, a podcast for nostalgic millennial queers. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex, and today we are going to be comparing Mean Girls 2004 to High School Musical 2006.
Mean Girls 2004 is a teen comedy written by SNL alumni Tina Fey and directed by Mark Waters.
And High School Musical is from 2006. It was written by Peter Barsuccini and Kenny Ortega.
I know what you're thinking. These films aren't gay. And while that's true, nothing is necessarily inherently gay about the stars. There is gay supporting characters in Mean Girls and a whole lot of gay subtext in High School Musical that we will be talking about today. Today we're discussing these two films in relation to how they reflect our own high school experiences as the new kids and dealing with cliques in high school. The only logical place to start that kind of discussion is by looking at the two new girls in these films, respectively. Cady Heron. I literally wanted to say Cady again. Cady Heron and Gabriela Montez. Okay. And when talking about these films, we, out of the gate, have to acknowledge that one is a superior film with better acting, better writing, better directing, obviously a bigger production budget. That's High School Musical. Just kidding. Mean Girls is a better film. Absolutely. Where that part is not up for discussion, but we are discussing how these two impacted the culture around us in our late high school, early college years.
And did we see ourselves in those films?
And if you didn't, how? Okay. So, sorry. So, Alex, which of the two new girls are you?
I'm definitely a Cady Heron, sadly. I've never had the makeover moment or anything like that. I'm not referring to that. But getting caught up in boys and losing myself in that drama, that Cady Heron story, forgetting who you are, forgetting who your best friends are, kind of losing balance just to get one thing. I get single-tracked like that. Single-minded like that? Yeah. I get a one-track mind like her.
How
about you?
I think for me, I want to be Gabriela Montez. I want to be as put together as that. I was a new girl. We were both new girls at the same school at slightly different times. Barely. What, you came later?
Semester after.
Yeah, a semester after. But the thing about both of these characters, other than just the fact that they're fictional characters, nope, never mind. I think I relate to Gabriela Montez more because she was really kind of just more driven on her own goals and not hung up on boys she wanted to fit in by disappearing. Literally, maybe so much so that at one point in time while watching the film, I was confused if she was some part of witness protection program with how little attention she wanted from the rest of the world. Constantly, she is talking about, why are people looking at me? Why am I the center of attention? And I was never completely one to shy away from being the center of attention, but also that need as a new kid to fit in and just wanting to do your best so that you can get out of there and get on to the next big thing, because ultimately your life is bigger than this boy and this High School Musical callback. Gabriella. What else do we want to say? We're introduced to these characters in two very different ways, right? For Gabriella, the first time we see her is at a ski resort New Year's Eve party where she's singing karaoke with Troy Bolton.
She wants to read a book, but she gets called up.
Oh, yes. They're both so reluctant to participate. Yeah. And then they get forced into karaoke and they sing together. Whereas the first time we see Katie, she's being lectured about going to school on the first day from her parents, but the angle is so deep that it makes it look like they're talking to a very small child. Because if you don't know this about Mean Girls, Katie Heron until that moment has been homeschooled in Africa because what was her mom's job? What were her parents' jobs? What do they do?
It changes from the musical to the movie, but they were like wildlife National Geographic people.
Oh.
I think.
I don't know. Her parents have some job in Africa, and for some reason, the musical, the updated modern musical does explain it a little bit better as to why they're suddenly.
It's not about the parents. It's about Katie Heron.
It's not about them at all. We don't care. This is maybe even the first time I'm really exploring why she came to America.
I think that changed too in the movie and the musical.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so Gabriella meets a boy, then goes to a new school, and Gabriella's entire intent at this new school is, like I said, to not stand out in any way. She doesn't want to do what she was great at her old high school, which is academic decathlon, except for they don't call it that. They call it scholastic decathlon. Is that what it? Yeah. So she doesn't want to be on the scholastic decathlon team. She just wants to exist and get comfortable, which
get caught up with the curriculum, get caught up with the school year or whatever.
Yeah, she does say that a lot, that she's just going to be so far behind and have to be catching up with the curriculum.
And it's spring, I don't know. That's weird.
And if she was smart enough in her old school that she had won academic decathlon, would she be behind, really? I know it's I know from experience that it's an entirely different thing to study, but typically those kids aren't kids that are falling behind in classes.
Typically the teachers aren't creating a whole new or continuing anything from the fall.
You're right, yeah.
Starting something new.
Mm-hmm. And they certainly wouldn't expect the new kid. And Katie Heron doesn't really seem...
Katie Heron just wants to know how to exist with other teenagers because she has only lived with her parents and animals.
And one boy.
And there's villages and people that she saw sometimes, but she wasn't part of the tribe. So this is about... Mean Girls is about finding her tribe and recognizing there is no tribe. Mm-hmm. Maybe... What was the point of the journey, Tina Fey?
So, very quickly into Mean Girls, we see that Katie is struggling to fit in, and she eats lunch in the bathroom, and then on her second day of school, they find her hiding out in the bathroom, right? That's the first time.
What happens is Katie asks the kids next to her for where the gym is, or where her next class is.
Oh yeah, where
they say it's back behind.
Building.
Where's the health building?
And it's back behind the old gym It's back behind some building.
Yeah. And they lie to her, and they totally fib, and then they introduce her through Janice Ian's artwork about the lay of the land, about Click World via lunchroom cafeteria.
Right. Whereas in High School Musical, Gabriella auditions for the musical of her own accord. Nobody forces her into it. Or does Troy even encourage her? She just literally just shows up. I don't remember.
So they have a lingering curiosity about whether or not to engage, and they're hanging way back. And what's the name of the woman? The woman in Devil's First Helen, the oldest actor. Mrs. Darvin is what her name is. Miss Darvin.
Miss Darvin. Okay, so Miss Darvin sees them hanging back. Kelsey?
Let me come back. Let me go
Sorry.
back. What happens is they're lingering in the back of the auditorium, and they're not sure whether or not they want to participate because Troy's like, oh, I'm just a jock and I shouldn't be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabriella's like, I'm really shy and I really want to focus on school and I shouldn't be doing this. And they notice each other like, are you here going to do it? Are you going to do it? I can't do it. I can't do it either. And Miss Darvin calls out if there's anybody else left. No one else has signed up. And she says, okay, we're done. That's it. That's a wrap. And that's when Gabriella decides to speak up. And I think that's the message, is that it's never too late to speak up for yourself. Because throughout the movie, they're always arriving late. And she leaves and she says, fuck you guys. No, I'm going. Miss Darvin walks out of the auditorium. She's done. She's done for the day. Theater must start on time.
Miss Darvin looks at these high school juniors and says, fuck you guys. You didn't show up for auditions on time.
I have to teach you something.
I'm out of here.
My hill to die on is punctuality.
No, though. Hold on. I'm plot thread. Gabrielle shows up to school and they're all in the same homeroom. And they all get detention, which detention happens to be, because they have Miss Darvin for a homeroom teacher.
Yes.
Happens to be in the theater. Not necessarily relevant to the auditions, but so she kind of already sees part of the clique world of the high school and figures out that Troy is in the school because he calls her in class from his archaic flip phone. And there she answers.
And she answers in class and they get detention together.
Right.
It's the only Grease-like moment where they see each other or he sees her and calls out to her and totally nearly embarrasses himself. Actually embarrasses himself because his whole conflict is he has to be a jock on the basketball team. And when he gets detention, he's not at basketball practice. And his dad, the coach, gets mad about that.
Right. Where does Sharpay come in?
Sharpay is also in the same homeroom.
And so is Taylor and Chad, right? The two, best friends of Gabriella and Troy, respectively. Although Taylor has known Gabriella for like 0 seconds at that point, and maybe 2 weeks by the whole course of the show, right?
Yeah, a month has not passed.
But fiercely protective of her, and has decided that she belongs to the Scholastic Decathlon.
Because Sharpay tries to get rid of Gabrielle Montez and pranks her by putting the photo of her winning in Taylor's locker room. And so Taylor thinks, oh my gosh, yes, I accept your agreement. And Gabrielle's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I would never post this. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I can't. I have to focus on studies.
Somebody blew my secret spy cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so from that moment, though, we've already talked about Janice and Damien showing Katie the lunchroom chart, which goes into a montage of like actually seeing the different groups at the cafeteria. They see jocks and JV jocks, the mathletes, which is probably the closest parallel to Scholastic. No, not even. The mathletes, who are the parallel to the Scholastic Decathlon. We also see the plastics, who Janice refers to as the worst people you ever meet, and then their own table, which is just Janice and Damien.
The cool art.
It's the art freaks, but she calls them the coolest people you ever meet.
Yeah.
So that is the cafeteria layout in Mean Girls. And the cafeteria scene in High School Musical is a musical number, because while the plot of High School Musical isn't to perform a musical, the movie itself is a musical about high school.
Yeah, essentially they see a callback sheet. Sharpay sees a callback sheet that includes callbacks, and she thought she just had the role, and she freaks out and she doesn't know what to do, and she sees that first thing in the morning. Then she goes to the lunchroom and everyone is angry about lunch. By the way, funny thing, this doesn't have to make the thing. There's a poster in the cafeteria that says lunch hours 11 to something other time. Why? High School Musical is a mess.
Yeah, why would you have? Yeah, no. If you're there,
you know why you're there. You know what time it is. You know when you have to leave because the bell.
Yeah.
You don't need a School Spirit poster.
So funny. Okay, so but the comparative scene to Janice breaking down the school cliques is a whole musical number called "Stick to the Status Quo," which Alex, it just rolled your eyes. Alex, how do you feel about "Stick to the Status Quo"?
It's cute because Sharpay's like looking out, trying to figure out what happened. Clearly, she lost her whole morning, and she's in she's in some sort of dissociative state and sees everyone dancing. Side note, my fiance asked me, what's happening? What's the lore here? Is there an eldritch being that's causing everyone to sing and dance? Or do they recognize they're singing and dancing?
Right. That is what a common musical question, right? How aware are the people in the musical that they're in a musical? And most of the time, the answer is they're not. They're just compelled to by whatever spirit the musical is driven by to sing and dance. But you would think in a movie called High School Musical, in which people are auditioning for musicals, they would be somewhat aware
that they all have talent.
That sometime they're singing and dancing that is normal, and everybody does it, and everybody knows the parts and the choreography and can sing perfectly. But outside of that, there are moments when they have to audition for parts in a musical.
Let's go back. Yeah, but yes.
That was a big digression, but
I needed to know.
No, that's important. And I think that, like I said, that's a common musical, like, how aware are these people? And typically the answer is, if you have time to think about those kinds of things, it's not a very good musical.
And I only thought about that.
But
the song,
in the scene, Stick to the Status Quo.
There are essentially three groups. The basketball jocks, the smart kids who study a lot, and the stoners or
the skater kids.
Skater kids. They're stone coated. Stoner coated.
Okay, sorry. So Troy Bolton.
Let me go back. Okay, so that morning after their audition, there's callback sheet, and Sharpay freaks out. You can hear her scream all over the school. When a blonde girl screams, everyone notices. And she's screaming because there's callbacks. Troy Bolton and Vanessa Hudgens are on there, and that makes the best friends mad. Everyone in the school is like questioning who they belong to, and Sharpay, in a dissociative fugue state, goes from seeing the callback sheet in the morning to the lunchroom at lunch, and looks down like Ava Perón, but without singing, and just like, what the fuck? And below her, there are three lunch tables. The skater kids, the JV basketball team, and probably the academic decathlon. But you never see them in the scholastic decathlon. Some smart kids studying literally a history book at the lunch table. And because Troy has disrupted the status quo, everyone's questioning where they belong. There's a kid named Zeke who thinks that, hey, maybe it's okay for me to admit that I want to bake. I really want to make a brulee. So brulee boy makes everyone upset over there. And then a girl at the studying table says, I know I look like I study a lot, but I also like popping and locking, and shows us how to pop and lock. And pop and locks forever.
Yes.
And then one of
my absolute favorite, because why? I don't understand, like, the stoner skater kid whole table being so stupid to not know what a cello is beyond my comprehension. Okay, like,
They skate so much.
They skate, and they're just
All they
so in tune with their skating that they can't comprehend.
The cello player doesn't
he
either,
says?
because when he cellos, it makes air guitar sounds. Or just guitar sounds. He's air celloing guitar sounds.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah, but so at the skater table, there's a kid that's like, I secretly like cello. And then the dumbest or funniest, I laughed a lot. His friend is like, do you have to wear a costume? And he's like, a suit and tie. And then they go back to the chorus of, oh no, no, stick with the status quo.
A little dramatic. Oh, my
Like,
head.
What? Also, no, the fuck you don't.
So
to just
cringy.
play the cello?
You're already.
No, you don't.
You're
dude.
also not in the status quo already by like skating and smoking pot after school. Whatever it is that they do with their beanies.
But that is right. That goes back to the cliques, though. That's just how they're. The whole point at this point of both of the movies is there is a pocket, there is a lane. You find it and you stick in it and you do not stray. That is where we are at with these clique scenes. Obviously, we've already talked about how that starts to change for Gabriella, as she is from her old school. She's a scholastic decathlon winner, and she's auditioning for, and yes, hot nerd. And then she's auditioning for the musical, so she's breaking out from her status quo. And Katie, on the other hand, doesn't have her status quo doesn't exist. She doesn't know how to navigate any of this. So what happens is she's approached by Regina George, who is the leader of the group called the Plastics. And Regina George has some of the most iconic lines in cinema history in this first scene, especially "You're really pretty." And Katie says back, "Thanks." And
I agree.
So you agree? You think you're really pretty? What diabolical shit is that? What trap did she just put this poor girl into?
I've been put in that trap in real time at real parties. I mean, they were quoting the movie, but when you say something else besides pretty, you still get Katie Heron.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you get Regina George? I don't know. Yeah, it's a trap.
Get Regina George. Yeah, it's a trap for sure. And so after that exchange, the Plastics, the popular kids, invite Katie to join them at their table every day. And then Katie reports back to her first friends she made, Damien and Janice, and they're like, you have to do it because
this will be so funny. It's gonna be hilarious.
And Janice believes that Regina George is evil because of some old drama some really dumb old drama that they have. But I also get, I would probably have held it against somebody, or maybe I wouldn't have, because I would have been like, she was right. God damn it! What did I just say? But anyways, they convince them to. Damien and Janice convince Katie to hang out with the Mean Girls for the sake of infiltrating and learning all the secrets about the Plastics. Right?
That's all true, but I wonder, did Damien actually care?
Did Damien say anything?
I think it's just in the original movie, it's just Janice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, you're right. Damien is just there, making fun of short girls in the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do a retake. My thing is just like,
no,
it's another sidekick gay character, even though Janice Ian is coded a lesbian. I thought.
Yes, absolutely. They even make the Lebanese joke. Okay, this is not in order necessarily, but one of the Hi friends. So in the movie Mean Girls, when Kevin Napor asked Janice about her ethnicity, she says she's Lebanese. Now, many of you might know that, bit being a code word for lesbian from the TV show Glee, which kind of blew it up, but it actually originated from the Golden Girls. They're whispering to each other, misunderstanding. One of them says, "Oh, that's not big. A guy down the road is like that." And then Blanche goes, not Lebanese, lesbian. So
Thanks,
yes,
Blanche.
yeah, it comes from Golden Girls.
Good. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Fuck yeah. Whole history.
So yes, she is Lebanese colored, which is absolutely. I don't care if
And
the
Kevin,
less.
of course, says, I feel that.
Oh,
He's feeling that.
he is feeling that. Do you remember the first? Do you remember your first day of high school? That's a different question than. Well,
do you remember first day of school?
Do you remember your first? Well, there's the first day of school, but then there's your first day at a new school where you don't know anybody.
For me, that's every year. So that's why I'm not catching you. Yeah. Every year I went to a new high school.
So yeah, for me it's different. When I went to I was in the same place for junior high that I was for high school. So going to high school in 9th grade wasn't as big of a new kid scenario as my 10th grade when we moved to Omaha and I was in a new environment with a brand new school and a whole new set of kids.
I sometimes brag that I went to like 5 or 6 high schools. I just went to a lot of high schools. I was always the new kid. As far as finding the clique, yeah, the pressure at lunch was more real than any other time to find some place to sit.
Yeah.
And the daunting part of being an older kid, because they're juniors in both movies. And yeah, it's just a little bit more because everyone has at least 2 years of history together.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because when we moved to Omaha, and that's where Alex and I met, but I was a new kid a whole semester before him.
A whole semester.
So I was not the new kid when he came. That's the perk of having another new kid. But my first day, I literally was like standing in the cafeteria line, and I had no idea what I was going to do with myself. And girl behind me who was in my English class was super kind and was like, hey, our table's crowded, but you can come and sit with us. And that is literally where I sat for the rest of that year. And I pulled Alex in with me when he came. So
yeah, I remember you telling me we new kids gotta stick together. Yeah,
that became a mantra of mine. I definitely then, we tried to pay it forward with as many new kids.
Pay it forward was such a big deal when we were in high school.
Mm-hmm. But at the table that we sat at as sophomores, there wasn't really anything particular other than just sophomores who were all in an honors English class together.
I was not. Was I in honors English?
It had to be.
Cool.
We were in. Unrelated memory. You once told that teacher.
Yeah.
I'll just call her Miss U.
Spoonerisms? Are we talking about spoonerisms or Clay Aiken?
No.
Communion?
What is evil? There was a quote. This is like my favorite thing, and I
don't remember this, and that's why I'm sitting back because I don't remember this specific one. But yeah,
I don't remember. But in English they would write a quote on the board, and this one was something about evil. And Alex, as a 16-year-old boy, said something incredibly witty, like, well, sometimes when we think of evil, it's not really evil, it's a matter of perspective. And this teacher was like, if you don't think there's real evil in the world, there's something. I mean, she didn't say there's something wrong with you, but whatever she said definitely implied that there was something wrong with Alex.
Yeah, and maybe she was a 50-ish-year-old woman who had seen life and seen the world and lived through crises, and I was just 16. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she heard something in that perspective that was like, yep, I'm going around doing crimes.
Yeah, as if, yeah. It was bizarre. But yeah, so the table we sat at, like, that was our clique. We were sophomores who had the same English class. And that was what it was for sophomore year for me. For junior year, it kind of shifted into like, this is where the theater / academic decathlon nerds hang, which is hilarious because in my world, those were the same groups of people. And yet the entire plot of High School Musical is like, you couldn't have done it. Mm-hmm. When literally everybody I know almost that was in yeah, I mean, not everybody, but lots of people, including people who had major parts in these musicals, were also on academic decathlon. So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a very blurred perspective when it comes to evil and when it comes to like who the new kid is and where the cliques are. Because I was changing schools every year. My social compass came from Clueless, like which was fully a decade before I went to high school. But there will be cool kids and there'll be kids on the knoll, and that sort of track because I saw that there were groups like that, but unless you actually have time to marinate for longer than a semester or longer than a year, you need to have access to these opportunities to hang out after school and get involved in programs and notice the kid who is really great in math is also a youth camp leader and is also on a sports team doing jock things because you're just a kid. You're supposed to do everything. That's the actual life goal.
And that's not to say that our cafeteria didn't have a hierarchy, because it did. There was like the center of the cafeteria had like these two like U-shaped booths, and they were long U-shaped booths that were probably like 12 to 15 feet long. And you would, and that's where the coolest of the cool kids sat. And then outside of those booths on the edges were some smaller like 4-seater booths, and then some like octagon tables. But yeah.
We talked to about some of the other schools that I've been to where it wasn't like a big, I had mentioned from other schools ways they tried to diffuse that tension by putting in long rows. But even then, you're still judging or trying to get the seat next to the coolest kid. And there's still like a gradient that occurs of who's the most or the furthest from the center.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you sit at the center of the long of the long table or not?
I know with the U booths, it was different because it was easier. It makes sense to be the cool kid in the center, but then you can't leave.
The U booths, it was like, are you sitting on the edge of the U, and can you get out by telling 2 people to move? I mean, so I assume. I don't actually know from experience. But I do remember that feeling of like my first day at South, where we both went, of like that anxiety of like having my lunch tray with me, having my lunch tray in my hands, having my lunch tray in my hands, and then like getting my food on it and still not knowing exactly what I was going to do because I hadn't thought it out. I hadn't asked anyone. And then like being in the lunch lane and somebody behind me from my class who was very kind being like, do you have somewhere to sit? And like that moment, that anxiety just kind of like deflating, being a huge deal. Do you think that cliques like informed your sexuality or your ability to be out?
Cliques in film or cliques in life?
I guess I meant cliques in life, but sure, also in
because I didn't really
film.
I really didn't feel like there were real cliques in real life. I was always the outsider, so it's not like clique feeling. And I saw a lot of because I went to a lot of the smart kid classes like you did, so I could see that I was there for longer than the semester. I saw how one person could be the funniest kid in one class and be very quiet in another class and also be a star athlete this time of year, but not so much a star player in the football period. And do all these things and be a rounded person. I guess your question was, did inclusion help me feel like I could be out? Yeah. Only because if when one person comes out, other people can come out. That was the energy in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I mean, I think too, like being a new kid in general helps you reset like and I'm not saying that I wouldn't have come out if I had graduated high school in Titusville. Maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe I would have waited till I went to college. A lot of the people that I know that were at my high school that have since come out as bi or whatever, a lot of them waited until later. Some of them way later in life, but yeah, I do think there is something to be said about like a restart, especially if that restart includes other perhaps out or almost out
Yeah.
folks or people that are out, because this was actually the reality of our theater group. There are people that were out, but we were like out to other theater kids, but not out to the whole school, which is one of the most fascinating things to me in life that has ever happened. I'm gonna start. But so our junior year, I was out with the theater kids. You were out with the theater kids. You had a boyfriend. I had a girlfriend. We were out with
Doing it.
we were out doing it. We were out with that group of people, and we were at a party with that group of people. But some people that weren't typically part of the theater group had invited other friends or various other people. And you are in the corner making out with your boyfriend. And I am upstairs at the time actually trying to break up with this girl that I was seeing.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
But the girl who's throwing the party's mother comes into the bedroom where I'm with my girlfriend at the time. You're in the corner making out with your boyfriend. I'm upstairs trying to break up with my girlfriend. I get kicked out of that room by the person's mom who was throwing the party because she was like, I don't care what's going on in here. This isn't happening. Whatever it is, please get out. So we go downstairs, and the next, like, it gets quiet the second, like, we come downstairs. Like, I don't know what the fuck
has been happening.
Jackie's mom, I don't know what this person's mom had told them, but either way, we got kicked out of the upstairs, out of the girls' bedroom, and we are then downstairs, and it is quiet as fuck. And so then the four of us leave with Allie, our token, and then the next day at school, we are like, I don't want to say we're like accosted by rumors, because it wasn't like malicious, but there was suddenly so much talk about that party and so many questions, and some incredibly well-meaning ones. Like, I remember one of the popular girls, Vanessa, writing me a note like that was very, very sweet. That was like, hey, are you okay? I'm hearing these things. I don't care. But like, just so you know, these things are going around. And if it's true, cool, good, whatever. Just, let me know like what you need, basically, if I need to like try to interfere. And I was like, that's fucking the best allyship maybe I've ever seen. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, that's how you went. I went from being out to my parents, to my best friend, having a girlfriend, to actually experiencing a coming out, which is so mind-boggling to me.
I just had two comical wrestler boys kind of corner me and ask me about the private things that I have done and would do. And there was some tension. I walked out of there unscathed, sadly. I wasn't single at the time. I wasn't even thinking about those two.
Yeah,
that was
I do remember your flirtation ship is what I'll call that, with those two. I don't remember
how long did it last.
I remember there were like multiple exchanges where you're like, this is not a conversation a straight guy would have with you, right?
I remember talking,
like,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, probably not.
What is this? Yeah, I don't know why I asked my lesbian friend. I know why I did.
Because you could.
Because I love you.
Oh my God. What, are we done talking about cliques? We have talked about so many things related to high school. Oh, okay. So we talked about two characters, but we didn't really explain their villainy, because honestly, their villainy is pretty small when you're an adult and you're looking back on these movies and you're watching these movies.
The perspective has changed.
The perspective has changed, especially for Sharpay with me. Like, I I don't think I ever fully saw her as a villain because I was already out of high school by the first time I watched it. But I definitely kind of like, I understand her need to protect her bubble a lot more, even though she is definitely the antagonist for Troy and Gabriella. I understand why she would be so like, this is the thing, this is the only thing I've ever known, I've ever been good at, and it's my junior year. Like, why are things changing now? Like, I can understand that more, like, looking back.
We're the president and vice president of the theater club.
The drama?
Of the drama club, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how things are supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a clear hierarchy, and they were prepared for the hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
And the villain of Mean Girls, honestly, is probably just teenage society in general. But it is presented as Regina George is the meanest of the mean girls.
She's so mean that she got her parents to move out of their room and give her theirs so she could have the big room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's such a good example of the ways in which she's a mean girl. Yeah, just like, they give multiple examples of like, she'll compliment something that somebody is wearing, but really then she'll make fun of it as ugly with her friends when they turn away.
I heard she models in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Something like
there
that.
There are various, fake rumors. She's cheating on her boyfriend, which is a point of contention for Katie, mostly because she likes the boyfriend, not because she cares if Regina is a good person or not. Like, that's not her. She never once is like, yo, Regina, like, why do this? She's like,
that's the big difference between the two movies. There's big. Katie and Regina are supposed to be friends. They're supposed to be part of the same clique. Where in High School Musical, they're all supposed to be in separate cliques until they realize they're all in this together.
Literally. And both movies have that we're all in this together moment.
Tina Fey's getting all those girls together to sit around.
It truly takes somebody getting hit by a bus for the message of all of this petty squabbling is just, in fact, that petty squabbling to set in. Literally, somebody gets hit by a bus. And one thing that I love about this movie is the number of times there's at least 2 foreshadowings to getting hit by a bus. One is a physical foreshadowing. Katie, on her first day of school, steps out of the car, and the bus zooms right by in front of her.
At 80 miles an hour.
Yes, it's terrifying. The second is she says, and I don't remember what she says it about, but she says, like, it felt like getting hit by a bus. And those are both things that happen in the first act, and Regina George gets hit by a bus.
Regina George kissing Aaron Samuels.
Feels like
at the Halloween
hit by
party.
A bus. Yeah.
The Halloween party. Okay, so we talked about parties that we have in common. There's no parties in High School Musical. They're all at school and together. Do you remember the first time you watched either of those films? Is that how you want me to ask that, or should I ask that?
I think that's
Okay.
good. You can. I don't have a specific memory for watching High School Musical with my friend Allie Virch, and she insisted that I watch Mean Girls. And I was like, that. I was a senior. I thought the movie looked dumb. Like, I was not into whatever teen comedies. I was cooler than that. I was too indie and hip for that. I was whatever. So she makes me sit down and watch the entire film, and I'm like laughing this, in spite of myself, but I'm like keeping it pretty low key because I think it's funny, but I don't really want Allie to know how funny I think it is until literally the bus moment. Regina George gets hit by a bus, and I lose my shit. Not because she gets hit by a bus, but because right after Katie's line is, and that's how Regina George died. Pause. Just kidding. It's a teen comedy.
And a teen comedy has someone just die and then just nope.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Just everything about that.
In a world of
so
Final Destinations and Screams, there was never just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Well, and living in that moment where I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, how satirical and dark is this teen comedy? Oh no, never mind. Like, literally, there's a whole second where that passes my mind, and I'm like, oh no, okay, thank God. You don't remember the first time you saw Mean Girls, or you think it was because I had then how Allie Birch had passed her obsession of Mean Girls onto me, and
You
I
had the
made
DVD.
everyone watch it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was obsessed with it. There's so much other things were going on. I do remember High School Musical, watching that with you and Abel on the 9th or 8th floor with some other friends from your floor, taking out the little TV common area and watching it. I don't know why you wanted to watch it, but you were like, I think you were the one that brought it up. I was like, no, we're doing this. This is just something to do. Just see this. It's a musical and it's about high school. That's us.
I think, yes, not only because we were in musicals, but like it was like such a big thing. Like I can't explain the cultural phenomenon of High School Musical, and like
Disney was
It
targeting
wasn't-
something for adults, is what it felt like. And we were freshmen, but we were still teenagers. And for it to be even about teenagers and a full blown movie felt like a pretty big deal. And we both had still some musical theater and theater in general in our hearts. So it felt like, a little bit different than Lizzie McGuire,
right. And I think,
the movie.
I mean, I think we went into it fully expecting it to be stupid, to feel like it was something that we could laugh about.
It was far more stupid than we anticipated.
And it is incredibly stupid, but it is also something, I don't know, the further I get away from it, no, that's not even true. I almost said the further I get away from it, the more I can appreciate it. But literally this week, I was like, that movie's so bad, Alex. It's so bad.
They advertised everywhere. Like, the advertisements for High School Musical lasted a decade. They were selling, I don't know for real,
They
but like,
still are.
well,
I mean,
yeah,
really.
the franchises continued, but the
Yeah.
posters were everywhere. Zac Efron posters,
Mhm.
Vanessa Hudgens posters. It was intense.
Mhm.
Like, Disney
it
worked so
was
hard
like-
to make them the it couple.
It was the flagship for sure for all of the things that Disney was doing, especially related to like preteens. And you're right, like anywhere that would sell posters or any of that. Not that we would be buying them, but if you're like flipping through it, you're like, oh, right, High School Musical is everywhere.
Yeah. Here's a whole side bin of just their DVDs and their calendars and the Trapper Keeper and the backpack and I'm making this stuff up. I genuinely believe there was like children's shoes with High School Musical on it.
I don't know about children's shoes, but I all of the school supplies I could get.
Yeah.
I could get
I
behind.
don't know about Sharpay influencing the three-piece.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we should have talked about this when we were talking about villains, but
We haven't talked about villains yet.
I mean, we kind of did.
Which villain is worse? We've talked about them.
Yeah. The truth is that it's just society's pressures. That's the real villain. But Ashley Tisdale's wardrobe and its impact on society might be pretty villainous. Because, I don't know, maybe it was happening before then, but the millennial layering of Sharpay's outfits is so much more than iconic. Like, Ashley Tisdale went from, like, took a thing that existed and made it her own in a way that, like, maybe Lizzie McGuire had done it, maybe Hilary Duff had done it, but no, that's like a Sharpay outfit now. We're talking like a spaghetti strap shirt with some other shirt over top where you could clearly see the spaghetti strap and some type of something on top of that, whether that be a cardigan or a vest
or corset.
or a corset, whatever. 3 layers at all times. For
To stay warm in your sexy, skimpy clothing.
well, and in high school, I don't know what high school
So important to talk about. If we're talking about
wardrobe,
dress code and wardrobe,
yeah.
absolutely.
So you could probably more easily get away with wearing a spaghetti strap shirt if then most of your shoulder was covered, right? Like you see this much of the spaghetti strap, but then you also then have your
And it's not like there was a women's clothing store called Dress Code for Teens. Like, there wasn't.
No.
It was all.
No, Sharpay definitely was shopping at like Charlotte Russe and 579. Although like in Mean Girls, they call the store at which she's buying a dress like 135 because these characters are Hollywood thin and not average American thin, which is still pretty thin. 5'7" is very average, and if you're skinnier than that naturally, that's great, beautiful, whatever.
But 135.
But 135 is a little extreme. Yeah.
And that's just Tina Fey comedy.
Yeah.
I forgot all the stores had their own name in the mall. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Right. And then she says, like, she doesn't fit in the dress or something, and the shopkeeper at the 135 says, like, why don't you try Sears? Is it Sears?
Another department store. I think she just says, does she say department store? No,
Yeah, I don't. I wish I knew it. Maybe for the sake of it, I'll find a clip later and include it.
Okay.
But
clip coming.
Yeah. Okay. So villains.
Who is the better villain? I know that you said
who is the better villain? That is a different question than who's more villainous, right?
Yeah.
No. Regina George and Rachel Adams' portrayal of Regina George, actually every Regina George that has ever existed, is phenomenally evil in a way that only high schoolers can understand, I think. Like, it's so topical that, like, yeah, absolutely, as an adult, you're like, oh, she's just a kid, she's just going through it, like, she'll figure herself out. But in that moment, if you can put yourself in the position of somebody saying the things that Regina says to her friends daily,
dark place. She needs to dominate.
Yeah.
She has a full-on personality problem.
Poor Gretchen Wieners.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know why Gretchen Wieners couldn't have better friends if she wants. She
did at the end. Yeah.
She
becomes the leader of the Vietnamese group, the Hot Asians. That's what it was. The Hot Asians group.
Which is a problem in a different way.
Different film. Different year.
You know what? Yes, it's another one of those things that could only ever happen on a film that was made in the 2000s. Yeah. Gretchen Wieners of today could not then culturally appropriate the Asian.
She did speak Vietnamese.
Yeah. What did she like? I don't know.
The whole time.
Right. We don't know anything about Gretchen Wieners' mom.
Yeah. We just
no.
Dun dun dun. I think.
Actually, isn't she Jewish?
Gosh, she was everything. It's the truth is somewhere in her hair, where she holds all her secrets.
Oh God.
I think Sharpay is the most relatable, like you'd said earlier, because she is just trying to keep her status quo. She's trying to protect her own. The amount of teamwork that happens in Disney is scandalous. So if the villain is society, the society in High School Musical is far worse. Is far worse. Far more evil.
It is way more. She has a way easier time of convincing every single person around her that they have to do this exactly this way.
She convinces two fully developed personalities who are the leads in their own area to stop what they're doing and just focus on the new kid and what is his name? Okay.
Chad?
If Chad had been a real Chad, he would have said, no, Troy, you're not going to show up at the basketball team, and I'm going to be the lead. I'm going to take your dad. I'm going to get all the high school attention. But he's not a real Chad. He's a real friend. It's so weird. And then they're like, they do some diabolical stuff with the little camera attachment to the laptop. World before video phones and really nifty, tiny equipment, there was a time where you could just attach a camera to a laptop because you had to. The conventional laptop had no cameras, wasn't watching you. These kids Sharpay convinces these groups to trick Troy into saying these things on camera, on a hidden camera, and then they show that, broadcast it to Vanessa Hudgens' character, Gabrielle Montes, so she sees it in the chemistry room and realizes, oh, I should give up on this boy, and automatically depression.
Yeah.
They're
And
both
somehow
depressed.
they have the internet speed in 2006
Albuquerque High School.
to wirelessly broadcast this confession about how little Troy cares about the musical compared to basketball.
and Gabriella.
Yeah.
Like, it's more about, I don't care about Gabriella.
He definitely says,
I will stop doing all these things. Gabrielle means nothing to me. You're my homeboys, and I'm here for just you guys. Yada, yada, yada. We're going to win.
Now, we absolutely have barely talked about Ryan from High School Musical, and it's really just because he's like the awkward ass shadow to Sharpay. Like, I know that script probably changed a whole lot before it made to TV, but what is the point of Ryan? What, from your perspective, what is the point of Ryan?
I like to think of him as the Karen Smith to Sharpay's Regina George.
He is a Karen.
He can't read.
Whoa, he's not a Karen. He's a Karen Smith. He's an extremely dumb blonde. Yes.
He can't read, but he is in theater, guys.
Yeah.
So there's this time where the theater kids like show their shirts or like take off their jackets, and it reads "Go Drama Team" or something, and he can't read that. He doesn't understand or follow Sharpay's creative designs to overthrow the existence of other people's lives.
Yeah.
He's just there dancing. He holds his own on the theater stage. He fights with her. They're cute. They have like this whole little sibling thing going on. That's not incestuous at all. It's just super weird. A gal pal, gay best friend, shadow puppet.
Who never says anything about his sexuality.
Never says anything.
Because
Disney wasn't ready.
Yeah, and the word gay and
he had too many hats.
It doesn't exist. He had too many hats.
And he wore clothes from Express that looked like they were from Express at the time. There was like very hard plaids and like 70 designs. Like his high school couture was pretty high with the hats, matching hats every scene. And he danced like Michael Jackson at one point in at the ending basketball game. I don't know why. It was one of those musical moments, but he has a whole little dancing solo.
Yeah, if there is anything obviously gay about High School Musical, it is Ryan's outfits.
Jazz hands.
Yes. In general, he's very queer-coded without being explicitly gay.
The boy that I mentioned earlier, Zeke, who wants to bake in the basketball team, he is obsessed with Sharpay. But it's one of those bisexual moments where, like, I see these two people, but I know I should be interested in Sharpay. So I'm going to obsessively bake for Sharpay.
Ooh, I love that. Like, what he can't, like, Zeke cannot confess to himself that he's secretly into Ryan. So therefore he funnels all of this energy
on his sister
onto
or
Ryan's
twin or whatever they are.
It feels like they have to be twins.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless they're like Brady Bunch together, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Never thought about it. This is the most I've ever thought about how they're related.
And one of the end scenes, not the end scene, but one of the end scenes, Zeke's doing another baking overture, and it's Ryan who takes the cake from the boy who bakes. Like he takes the cookies or whatever, and he accepts them, and then he walks away, like Zeke walks away really quickly, and like there's just a microsecond where he's looking where he left, and he's just alone with these cookies, and that's it. At the end of the film, after the rolly things, credits have rolled.
After the credits roll,
it's Zeke alone for no reason in the gymnasium with a bunch of balloons in the center, and Sharpay screams again from the other side of the auditorium and says, "I love your cookies, I love your baking, I ate them, it was amazing," and runs and screams the whole time shrilly. Sharpay is just a dog. I loved your treat. I'm coming. I see you. I love you forever. I hope you bake for me forever, or something like that. And they hug, and like Zeke gives a little thing to the camera, like, I got her.
So in regards to representation of LGBTQ persons and or ideas, from the jump, Mean Girls in the first minute and a half has a opening line about Katie's talking about perceptions of homeschooled people, and it cuts to these kids that are sitting on this that are dressed like farmers, and they're sitting on this little bench outside. There's a whole bunch of them. I assume they're siblings. It's not explicitly stated, but I assume. And the boy in the middle says, and on the third day, with a southern accent, on the third day, God created the Remington rifle so that we could, is it kill? I don't know if it's kill. So that man can hunt, yes, so that man can hunt the dinosaurs and the homosexuals. Literally within 2 minutes of the movie, that line is said. It's hilarious because it's making fun of homeschool ideology. It isn't supposed to be this pro guns or pro anything. It is supposed to be a comical moment where this is how dumb people who are homeschooled are, and or this is what people think of people who are homeschooled. That's it. But that's from the jump. The comedic sexuality uses comedy from the jump. So when we meet Damien, who they later call too gay to function.
Several times.
At least twice. Thrice. At least thrice.
It's only funny when I say it.
Yeah, we see that it's established that sexuality exists and that it's established for comedy. One thing that catches me kind of off guard as I'm rewatching it now, thinking about how we view sexuality and particularly how we view gender, Damien is an interesting person because, with the exception of the love interest Aaron Samuels and the guy who's in the Mathletes, Kevin DePore, we don't really get to know, and we barely get to know those two guys. We don't get to know men in the movie. It's never about men. Even the principal is just kind of there compared to Miss Norbury.
Mr. Duval.
Oh, Mr. Duval. Even Mr. Duval barely exists compared to Miss Norbury. But Damien is one of the girls, just through and through. He's part of every scene where these girls break down their feelings and plot. And like you said, he's not necessarily the driver because he's not a girl. He's more of like a observer.
Gay best friend.
Which, yeah, gay best friend, but way more so. Like, I can't, to me, rewatching it now and just kind of thinking about gender, I couldn't help but read a little bit of non-binary into Damien because he constantly, there's never a differentiation between him and Janice in regards to the gender performance. And maybe that says something about Janice as well. But how they relate their gender to Caddy, how they, I said Caddy. But how they relate their gender performance to Caddy. It's Damien who has all the feminine insights, right? Like with, yes, it's an oversized polo, but it's a pink polo, and like, talking about hair and all of those things.
What are you gonna do with your hair?
Yes.
Yeah. He's never shown infiltrating anything. He is simply present. He is in the women's restroom. He's not trying to get in.
Yeah.
If anything, he's trying to defend his space. And even in the all-girls conference space, he is just there. He's not infiltrating. He's
actually the one who kicks somebody else out.
Yeah.
And there's no way on earth that Duval and Norbury didn't know that was him.
They don't care.
He's a whole ass shoulders and head above everyone else in that auditorium. Mm-hmm. And he shouts, "She doesn't even go here," about a girl who literally pretended that just such a dumb.
They explain it better in the musical.
Yes. So weird that she's just there because she likes to.
And so
she has feelings. That's it. I just have a lot of feelings. That's all she says.
That's her only explanation.
Yeah.
And he has a full, not just 5 o'clock shadow. 5 o'clock shadow from last week
Yes. Yes. He does look older than the average teenage boy.
Not that those teenagers don't exist, because I dated them while I was in high school.
Damien. But yeah, so I mean, to say that there's a competition between these two for which has better the homosexual represent homosexual, I don't want to say that.
Which one has? Not without your Remington.
Homosexuals. Oh god.
Which one has better queer representation?
Yeah. So not that it's a competition, because not everything has to be a competition. But if it were a competition, Mean Girls would clearly be the winner. But yeah, I mean, it's the difference between looking for that subtext, which we had to do so much of even before High School Musical. Whereas, yeah, like there's not a romance in Mean Girls, but like Damien is a whole person with a very interesting personality and memorable in a way that
Ryan was not allowed to be written to me. If I like what you said just now about our muscles were focused on looking and making up gay characters a lot of the time that weren't there or were possibly there. That code was just something that we inherited in that little space of time. Damien never actually does something gay. They just say he's too gay to function. He doesn't do anything gay. He could be anything, really, like you said. So yeah, they have that much in common. They're not making out with boys.
But when we look at the homosexual,
look at that homosexual.
When we look at the homosexual legacy, when we look at the
Damien
queer,
did more.
Yeah, when we look at the legacy of representation that comes about from these two films, we see it twofold, doubled in a lot of ways, right? An article in April of 2023 told me that Ryan from High School Musical comes out in High School Musical, the TV series. He's an openly gay character. So they do eventually get to a point where he is open and he is who he is.
After several iterations of the same story.
Yes.
And after time has passed where it's okay enough for Disney to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it takes them a very long time to get there.
And everyone has their path, yada yada. It tracks. It's cute.
And there's nothing to say that isn't, what that absolutely is true for people in real life and could very much be true for this character. And in terms of these films and their impacts on society, you see, like, Alex has alluded to the great casting. Very much not something anybody anticipated probably when casting, or maybe, I don't know. But all three of the teenage boys that we get to know in the film by name have come out of the closet since. Jonathan Bennett, who plays the main love interest, Aaron Samuels, has gone on to be Mr. Hallmark gay rom-com. I've seen maybe one of them. I don't even know the name. I'm horrible.
I've seen him play the boyfriend in situations, or a gay past interest, but not all of them. I can't. He seems too pretty to access. And
once again, can't remember the name of it. But him and Lucy Chabet, who played Gretchen Wieners, have been adjacent to one another in a holiday rom-com, because she is also a holiday rom-com.
Rom-com queens.
Rom-com queens, indeed. And Daniel Franzese, who played Damien, came out pretty close to when the movie came out, I want to say.
He was almost forced to. That's just kind of the situation.
Yeah, I don't remember. But then again, I didn't remember Clea Duvall ever being in the closet, and apparently she didn't come out till 2016. So I could look the date up, and it could be way after. Most recently, the actor who played Kevin Napor, Rajiv Surendra, came out of the closet also as gay. So all three of the main males that we get to know are openly gay.
Daniel has also said that I think he was talking about his struggle to find acting after this really open part in 2004, but received so much love mail from kids in high school who felt like, I always get moved when I think about it. His role allowed other high school girls to welcome the gay kid because they can belong there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made it so appropriate. So there are so many kids that wrote to him that would say things like, things were really hard my freshman or sophomore year. And then when your movie came out, suddenly I was the coolest kid. Suddenly everyone wanted to be my friend. That's just so cute. That's just so cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't remember Mean Girls having that much of an immediate impact.
We were in high school. Or we were seniors, right?
Yeah. So I guess you're right. Like, by the time it would have come out and everybody else would have seen it, we would have already been
done.
Yeah. So as we talk about these films, we always want to keep in mind too how much things have changed from when these films occurred to now, and how much more representation there is, and where they came from before that. Alex has talked about Grease a bunch of times. Obviously, there was no queer representation in Grease. I just like.
What was John Travolta doing? I'm just kidding.
What was John Travolta doing? No, what is Rizzo? Right?
What is Rizzo?
There's no way Rizzo is straight. I'm sorry. I'm not saying she's a lesbian. There's some queer. She didn't know these words, right? She didn't have the word bisexual or pansexual.
It was the 50s and the 70s.
But there's a vibe that I'm not gonna just let. Oh my God! What are we talking about? So
Sandy. Gabriella. Sorry, same moment. We're talking about the historical situation there, putting perspective on it. These were what we had, which was a lot more than the previous generations had, and not yet what the next generations would get. Without High School Musical, we probably also wouldn't have had Glee in the same way and seen the way that Glee kid, what's his name?
Kurt?
We would not have seen the way Kurt came out to his dad and seen those ups and downs. We might not have gotten that. And obviously, all those directors, writers were still out there doing their thing. But we have to wonder would it have been well received without these predecessors.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, how much more Tina Fey have we gotten in the world, and how much, queer representation and excellent allyship have we seen through her works, right? So,
and she didn't have to do that for us.
She didn't.
I mean, unless there was a secret gay gun to her head, I don't think she had to do any of that for us. The gays made her write it.
Secret gay gun to her head. Secret gay gun to your head. Right, interesting gay characters. Right, supportive characters. That's terrifying.
I don't think Tina Fey lives like that.
No, I don't think so.
Disney does.
Disney definitely has a secret gay gun.
Has it, or has one to their head occasionally? I don't know. I don't want to discuss Disney like that. I don't want to discuss gays like that.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't know what pushes these stories forward and then what pulls them back, right? Because we're definitely, and that's one thing that we can, Gay 2K is all about the blossoming of gay characters from a time where there wasn't anything. And in a time where a few decades ago, the Ryan character would have been beat up in the same film by the Troy character, because how dare he be feminine at all, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing that develop. When you take it out of context to think, oh no, Troy would have beat up a guy like Ryan in, a few decades earlier, but we do very recently have a violent history towards.
For us as kids, we weren't getting in junior high and middle school and high school, we weren't being spoken to directly about Matthew Shepard or Brandon Tina. They were just whispers on the peripherals, dangers about these experiences There were threats to get bullied that would generally get cleared up if we were lucky, or if we didn't stick around in the same school district too long. Single lady's hand. Then, so yeah, we had that just on our tail end as kids growing up in the 90s, and then becoming adults in the 2000s. We're suddenly seeing all these kiddos in high school portrayals, people our age in high school portrayals, having a safer space or a safer time in our life without getting beat up, not making out, not having relationships. That's too adult, but still existing without having a drama.
Right. So, yes, as always, protect the sacred timeline because history matters. And culture might shift to a darker timeline, but we will always have access. They can't take the stories that exist away from us. Just like they can't take books away. They can try, but they still exist.
Yeah.
And so we will fight for
keep reading,
these
keep
stories.
watching.
Yep. Okay. So today, like we said, we would talk about Mean Girls and High School Musical and through the eyes of our own experiences as new kids related to what Katie and Gabriella experienced.
Thank you guys for listening to our little friendship conversation about our experiences with these movies. It was a long time since we watched them, so it was nice to review the material, to chat about it, and then to bring you guys in. I hope you all enjoyed listening. So keep watching, keep reading, and stay tuned. Love you, friends. Bye.
Bye.
I hope I gave enough pauses in there so maybe we can cut bits of you and in.
Thank you for joining us today on K2K. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I hope you check out our upcoming episode. I sit down with S.J. Sindhu to discuss the film Bend It Like Beckham. Have a great rest of your day, friends. Take care, as always.